Hello and welcome to World Talks here on TVP World with me, Ashim Kumar. In a Thursday address, NATO Secretary-General Mark Rutte said that to prevent the next big war on NATO territory, member states will need to be faster and fiercer, embrace a wartime mindset and boost both defence production and defence spending. People seem to be listening. Sweden's parliament agreed on Thursday to send an army battalion to Latvia in 2025, as well as the participation of the Navy and Air Force in patrol missions as part of NATO's deterrence and defence policy. Szymon Holownia, Speaker of Poland's lower house, has said during a trip to Finland that the country is one of the world's leaders when it comes to protection of civilians in the event of conflict. How do we see this momentum evolving, and why now? Well, to discuss this, we're joined by Sigita Struberga, Secretary-General, Latvian Transatlantic Organisation. Hello and welcome to TVP World. Thanks for taking the time.
Hello, and thank you for having me.
Pleasure, pleasure. So, what are we seeing here? You know, we've got Sweden contributing. We've got, contributing more actively than one perhaps might have expected. We're seeing more alignment amongst European countries in support for Ukraine. Why has it taken us so long to get here?
So unfortunately, indeed, you're right. It has taken so long to get here, but still, I wouldn't be so optimistic when we speak of support to Ukraine. Although in recent months we have seen more European commitment, but basically it's reaction to the results of U.S. elections, right? So I hope Europe will be ready to take even more responsibility, not only for support of Ukraine, but also for its own defense. In terms of Ukraine, unfortunately, this incremental approach, which we have seen from European countries, has actually led to very harsh consequences for Ukrainians. And now when we see this tough situation on the battleground in Ukraine, it is so much important that more is done. And I'm afraid that some initiatives which we have heard in recent days are not sufficient for this more to be done in a way that Ukrainians win.
Right, okay, so let's talk about those initiatives. In the Wall Street Journal, it's reported that President Trump is saying to Europe, listen, guys, you put boots on the ground, okay, but we're not investing American troops to do any peacekeeping role or anything like that. What's the attitude to that in Latvia, where you're joining us from?
So in Latvia, the attitude is that we will be ready to support Ukraine with all necessary means. When it comes to President Trump's announcements, I think it is too early discuss how it is going to look like, because we have heard the French position as well in recent days. But at the same time, we have heard also a Polish position saying that most likely Poland does not see soldiers on the ground, on Ukrainian ground. So I would be careful to make any conclusions at the moment, since basically what we speak of is just the beginning of negotiations, how potential peace talks might look like and how we can empower Ukraine at the moment.
Okay, let's start with peace talks then. Trump has often said that he would bring peace to Ukraine within 24 hours. Now, he's probably exaggerating, as he tends to do. But nonetheless, what do you think his plans are, and what do you think Europe's role in those peace talks is likely to be?
I would like to, at the beginning, I would like to add that in recent days, also Trump said that he will make it in 24 hours if he will be able to. So this is something new, which comes in after already doing at least something. So that's why, again, let's see how it's going to look like. But on another hand, from my perspective, here in Europe, we have been let's say, obsessed with what's going to happen with Trump's victory and what's going to be next, that we have not seen that probably there might be some even positive consequences for Ukraine itself, with at least some clarity, which they didn't have before. And as I mentioned already before, this incremental approach with providing weaponaries that Ukrainians can survive but can't win is not a long-term strategy. We see how Ukraine is bleeding at the moment. So that's why I think it is very important to have the stronger support, more clarity. And I think Trump, with his sometimes maybe not very trustful announcements and with no consistency, might push towards at least some developments which might bring to peace talks. And this is what we see also from Ukrainian side. Ukrainian side has started to use rhetorics which I believe are not the most confident for themselves, but still it is about moving towards some peace.
Right, okay. But I mean, Trump has been clear on a couple of issues. One of them being that he doesn't, he thinks that the permission that President Biden gave to Ukraine to fire US weapons systems into Russia, he believes that to be a crazy decision, quote unquote. And he's made it very clear he's going to stop that permission. How is that going to impact on any peace talks? Because, again, it puts Ukraine on the back foot, doesn't it?
On one hand, yes, but on another, we should remember that there are other permissions for Ukrainians to still shoot Russian side. One thing. Second is that before Ukraine was doing that with only its own weapons, and here no one could say anything from partners, although there were some tryings. So I would say that, of course, it's not good news, but it does not mean that it will drastically, this particular issue will drastically change the course of war, or drastically decrease Ukrainian possibilities.
So it sounds as though, Europe is stepping up to the plate, preparing to fill in the gaps that President-elect Trump doesn't want to fill, and we may have a movement towards a position of peace through strength. Now let's fast forward. Let's suppose we do get a peace deal. How secure does that leave Ukraine? Because we know that's one of President Zelensky's greatest fears, that there's no security guarantee. He's had one before, but that proved to be worthless.
Yes, indeed. And in this regards, on one hand, we saw already for a while that even before Trump appeared to be elected president, in several European capitals, there were conversations about this type of scenario, which we see now, about freezing lines and empowering Ukraine to speak from positions of strength. On another hand, I do understand Zelensky's fears about setting this kind of peace talks, where Actually, there are no serious guarantees. That's why no wonder that the Zelensky team asked for this NATO membership. But on another hand, to be honest, I don't see, at least from my perspective, in foreseeable future, I wouldn't see it as Ukraine, like western parts of Ukraine joining NATO, but rather really looking for the another scenarios like European boots on the ground. But again, in this case, we see that there is no agreement even between European leaders at the moment. But since it's the very beginning of the talks, probably this type of solution will be found. Big question is whether Russia will agree on that. And taking in consideration the position in which Russia is now, I'm not sure that it will be easy to convince Russia to take this deal.
Right. Well, we shall see. And as you say, lots of moving parts, lots of dynamism at the moment in the system, and we shall be watching carefully. We'd love to have you back for your insights as they happen. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful day. That's all from us in this episode of World Talks. Goodbye.